are live at Radio Row and, of course, taking you till 6 tonight. But right now, all right, we got a lot to get into. We're going to play Get to Know with Mike Golic Jr. here in just a little bit. But also, we're going to talk a little Super Bowl, a little life, a little everything else. Mike Golic Jr., one of the hosts of the Golic and Wingo Show. When are they going to get the Golic Wingo Show?
Yeah, I keep saying, like, anytime, because I get to do a bunch of stuff with ESPN. It's fun. I call college football games. I'm calling some college lacrosse this spring for us. And so when I need time off, I was telling them, listen, guys, my name's not on the show, so if I got to go do other things right now.
Do they fight back and say it is on the show?
Yeah, that's the stock joke for them. And so until I see it plural, I'm like, I'm going to go and make sure I keep exploring my options, guys. Keep the pressure on them a little bit.
Obviously, we're all down here, Super Bowl, the fun. Was this out of all the teams that kind of like seemed like they were in it, is this the matchup that was the most unique of them? I mean, is this the one that was the best one when you looked at all the field?
I think so, and I think given what we've had for so long in the last, run of matchups, I mean, obviously, usually every other year it's a grab bag of, all right, who's the Patriots going to face in this? Seeing teams that do things different and new, right? On the one side, you got Mahomes and them running, I think, God's gift to the air raid offense on their side. And then what Kyle Shanahan's done for the running game in modern football. As a former offensive lineman, watching the stuff they do and how creative he's gotten with that, it really is a lot of fun. It is, I always said, football's violent chess, so this is the best version of that possible.
I like that. Violent chess. How good are the 49ers in the trenches? You mentioned offensive line. Obviously, you were an offensive lineman. And I think when you look at the Chiefs, it's all about the passing game and Mahomes. But the 49ers, they're going to beat you slow. It's going to be a slow, painful death with the 49ers,
well,
right?
It's going to be slow and painful because that's what we think of with the running game. But they're the same. Like I said, these two teams want to beat you the same way, different. They're both going to do it with track star speed, right? For the Chiefs, it's the Legion of Zoom. It's the wide receivers. But then you look, all right, the miles per hour next-gen stats, right below them for average speed, the 49ers, and it's Raheem Mostert, and it's Matt Breida, and it was Tevin Coleman in that backfield. They just want to get speed and space, and I think that's what Kyle does so well is the motion and misdirection creates a thought on the other side. And that's the worst thing you can do as a defender is have to think when you're supposed to do this stuff.
So the league always, changes and copies. Is that the new thing now? Everybody's going to go out and just find fast guys. I mean, Willie Gault was fast, but he wouldn't have the best hands. So are people just going to go find guys who can run? Is that where the league's heading?
Well, I mean, look what the Patriots have been doing for years. That's not anything new. The Patriots have took Cordell Patterson and said, all right, you can't catch the ball worth a damn, but you are faster than hell. So we're going to play you on special teams. We'll put you in the backfield. We'll run you on jet motions. You take great talent and you find a way to make it do the best job. 49ers are never going to have to pay a running back a ton of money. They already did that with Jerick McKinnon, and they saw how that injury worked out. And so they said, we got a bunch of fast guys all together. We can limit the load on them, not have one guy have to shoulder too much of it, and keep everybody fresh and use that speed. So I think what we're seeing more and more of is, especially a lot of young coaches are looking at the college game and saying, well, they're finding ways to get these freshmen on the field because they're so talented they've got to use them.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of those guys coming up to the pro ranks. Why don't we do the same thing? And so these guys have all the time in the world now to scheme up creative ways to get great talent involved.
And the Chiefs did a great job of doing that with guys that, you kind of, they were middle-round picks and maybe had some trouble, but smaller guys that they just found ways to just figure out how to get them the ball. And Andy started to do this 2 or 3 years ago.
He did. And you know what? Alex Smith, a couple years ago, had a season that probably doesn't get the credit it deserves because of what Patrick Mahomes has done since. But it was that same concept of, in college, the spread offense is about using the full 53 and a third when you look at the width of the field. The Chiefs do that about as well as anybody, and you kind of need one piece that you can do a lot of stuff with. And I think for both of these teams, you can say it's the same guy. It's Kittle and Kelsey.
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey kind of gets lost in the shuffle with all that speed, but they split him out, and they create matchup issues that force the defense on the back end, that shell that you always hear about. Where are the safeties? Well, you complicate that putting a body that big, fast, and talented on the outside. So the scheme we hear about is great, but when you've got a guy in Tyreek Hill who is special fast, who creates that, and then a guy like Kelsey who's such a matchup problem in this new NFL where tight ends can do so many things, I think that really helps make the whole engine go.
I wanted to kind of get you to kind of look at your crystal ball a little bit here moving forward. This offseason, every NFL offseason really is interesting in different ways. This one, I think it's going to be interesting to watch the way the quarterback dominoes kind of fall.
Oh, yeah.
How many changes do you think we're going to see for teams? Is Tom Brady back in New England? Is he somewhere else? Where do you see all that going? Phillip Rivers, how do you think all that's going to play out?
Yeah, I think Tom and Drew Brees are both going to end up staying put. I think Drew Brees is going to retire as Saint. I think Tom is not going to look out, and it's probably going to be my best chance at getting back to a Super Bowl is going to be in New England with all the things that they've got there. And so I think those two are going to stay put. But I think when you look at Phillip Rivers, that one seems to have gone, awry pretty quickly in all this. The very public move for Phillip Rivers' family, the reports that the Chargers had moved on from Phillip Rivers. So going to be interesting to see where he ends up. A team like Indianapolis is one that I've heard more that, like, maybe I just want at a very human level. Phillip Rivers has played football behind a revolving door of an offensive line for injury and lack of performance for the last 7 or 8 years. That guy has been faced with every adverse situation because of that. So put him behind the best meat slab in the league and let him go to work. Where does Jameis Winston end up in all of this one? I've called Jameis Winston, he's like giving a flamethrower to a civilian. It's going to be fun, and you're going to light a lot of stuff on fire. You are also going to hurt a lot of people in the where does he end up? And I think the real unsung one is Teddy Bridgewater. I think Ryan Tannehill is going to re-sign in Tennessee. Teddy Bridgewater was a $7.5 million backup who showed a lot in a short stint with the Saints this year. What team is going to take a chance on letting him be a full-time starter again in this league?
You bring up Ryan Tannehill, and that just kind of sparked. I want your thoughts on this. Derrick Henry, he had a pretty good playoff run this postseason, in case you missed it. Obviously, he balled out. So you say he's going to return to Tennessee. He could get paid, right? And then you have Derrick Henry. He might be asking for the Brinks truck this offseason. Do you expect both of them to come back to Tennessee?
I do. I expect Ryan Tannehill to come back with a pretty good deal in all of this. I don't think he's going to be able to ask for the moon, but I think he's going to be able to ask for close to it. And we pay for quarterbacks in this league. Derrick Henry is in a really interesting spot because of what's happened in recent years with Le'Veon, with Zeke, with all these guys. And so I wonder if this is the year, because a lot of their threat has been, I will look elsewhere, and I will hold out my services because someone else will be. And we know the franchise tag will be on the table, all that stuff. But I wonder if this year, because of the way it's underperformed as a position for the high-paid guys in certain ways, if the rest of the marketplace looks back and says, we're not going to give you that kind of money, so you're going to be bidding against yourself if you're asking Tennessee to do that. So I think they could both be back. Unfortunately, I think Derrick Henry is probably going to be paid less than he, air quotes, deserves for being as important a part of that offense as any player in the league.
Mike Golic Jr. with us here to hear him tomorrow morning, 6 to 10. Golic and Wingo here on 97.3 ESPN. Philly is where we are, and obviously kind of a tumultuous year that ended up kind of in the playoffs somehow, but they went 9-7 2 years in a row and had two bizarre endings to both these seasons. So are they a 9-17 pointing up or pointing down?
I think they're a 9-17 pointing up because you got vintage Carson Wentz back towards the end of the season. As the Titanic was sinking around him and bodies were dropping left and right, and Greg Ward
was playing that violin.
He exactly. He was that was my exact image of him playing the violin as it was going down. But he was out there making all of these guys that were former practice squad players noticeably better, and that's always the bar that we have for elite quarterbacks in this league. And so combine that with health that's finally, you hope going to. This made me appreciate the Eagles Super Bowl run so much more because you had injuries all over the place for that team, and they overcame it in ways that no team should be able to. This year, they looked like a team that had suffered the injuries that they did. So if they can stay healthy, protect Carson Wentz a little more, I think this is absolutely going upward.
I kind of wanted – you talked about all that with Wentz and everything, the way the season ended. It really, I think in a lot of people's minds, ended when Clowney hit Wentz. That hit in particular. Now, targeting is part of the game in college. The NFL looks at rules, change things. Would you like to see targeting given for that play? An example is certainly used in a vacuum, but Wentz was out for the rest of the game. If they reviewed that, I know people have their thoughts whether it would or wouldn't have been targeting, but Clowney could have been out of the game at that point. What's your thoughts on that and that particular play and what you saw?
On that particular play, I was in the camp that did not think it was as egregious as some. I would not have thrown him out for that hit. I joined you in that camp. I look at that, and now we are so sensitive to those hits that we all look at it, and we've all gotten a lot of reps at looking at what targeting is and what it isn't. And so kind of like the referees that I think have gotten better at legislating that at both levels, I think we've gotten better at seeing it. So I didn't think it was as egregious. Going forward, I probably wouldn't introduce as much of what we see in the college ranks. In the NFL, and we were talking to Brian Dawkins about this before, he was fined $200,000 in his career back then when they were
That's a lot of money.
We said they just put you in jail now. They would just put you in jail now.
Would you consider you more Dawkins or Gardner Minshew?
Ooh.
That was a good interview this morning.
I am more Gardner Minshew. Listen, look at Brian Dawkins physically. I cannot be him. That man walked on stage. I have never felt so self-conscious about my physical form. But no, Gardner, as a guy who held that dream of wanting to see this nation in an RV, I was living through the stories he was telling us in the break.
That was good. All right,
So
let's get to know Mike Golic Jr. All right, we got a couple of questions that we've been asking all of our guests here on Radio Row. Now, it's serious. Here we
Lock
go.
it in.
Mike Golic Jr., when you shower, is it a short shower or a long shower?
Short, efficient. I don't have a lot of hair.
In and out.
In and out.
All right. This is a good one. How many second graders do you think you could fight off before becoming overwhelmed?
Wow.
A few hundred.
Few hundred?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Second graders
Dude,
are
you
not
get two on your each leg, two on the arms. You're
Do
going
you
down,
know
Junior.
how hard I can kick and punch? Second graders
I don't-
are awkward. They're
Listen,
clunky. They're
you get
dumb.
you get one heavyweight in there, all right? One second
just
grader
one
that
at a
looks
time,
like a
or like-
fifth grader.
I'm saying you can send them in waves if you want to. Like
Bro.
I don't care. Like I have played enough zombies on Call of Duty to know what I believe I'm capable of in that setting. Second graders don't stand a chance.
You're underestimating the
If
second
you,
graders,
listen,
bro.
if you gave me
Call
fourth-
of Duty 4.
If you gave me fourth graders, we might be talking about a different thing.
True.
Second graders haven't developed mentally enough.
All
They're
right.
not going to work as a team.
He's
They're not
Fair
gonna
enough,
be into
man.
that.
Fair enough. All right, man.
On a plane, window or aisle?
Aisle every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Wow, see, I had the open
Wow.
deuce, and I went window.
See, so my problem always is with window is sometimes you're never sure what width you're going to be dealing with the seat, and that's my biggest problem. I still have
Get
broad
the leg
shoulders,
out.
and I really like being able to have one leg in the aisle, mostly to help out my teammate. The guy in the middle is fighting a battle that we've always and so if I can give a little lean that way and take some of the weight off him, I feel like I've done my job. By the way, if you ever
That's
recline
fair.
your seat, you're a monster.
Oh, yeah, I totally didn't recline.
Yeah, sorry.
I reclined.
Sorry, and he's
Dude,
sitting behind me.
Dude, I'm 6'4" in the middle seat, all right? I mean,
We got to help each
give me
other
some
out, man.
type
There
of
could be a
break.
big boy behind you.
I'm selfish. All right, UFC fight. Suggs versus Bosa. Who wins?
Suggs. That's a lot of forehead to beat.
That's
Wow. There was no hesitation in that. in that
Suggs,
answer.
Suggs is, I mean, listen, Suggs was the guy I grew up on, so seeing
True.
him automatically instills like a certain monicum of, all right, you better bring it. Bosa's not far behind, though.
alarm goes off. Do you wake up right away, or do you hit the snooze?
I'm at least one snooze.
Because you're an early riser.
Oh, yeah.
What time's that alarm?
First alarm goes off at 4:23 every day.
And then the snooze?
Sounds awful.
And then the snooze. I set 6 every morning. I'm terrified. I set 6, and then I have the Alexa next to me with another backup one.
Well, today the Amber Alert woke us all up.
That's a hell of a
That's
jarring way
that's
to
an
start
alarm.
the day.
It's very jarring.
Yeah.
You wake up like, whoa, what's going on? All right,
You go one snooze.
one snooze. I'm about 27 snoozes. So,
Respect.
respect that. If you were a fart, would you rather be loud and proud or silent but deadly?
I want to shake the room. I want
You wanna leave
to
your
be
mark.
like a poorly installed subwoofer.
That's not what
system in a
Laura
car.
Oakman said.
Yeah, no, loud and proud for your boy right here. I
Okay.
want to alert the room.
We passed on that question for her. Bob.
Respect.
All right. You're out to dinner with friends. Does Mike Golic Jr. split the bill, itemize, or pay the whole thing?
I'd rather pay the whole thing.
You take it all.
Yeah, I can't stand the itemizing thing.
Yeah.
It is my firm belief, especially amongst groups of people you see often, that eventually life balances it out. We all end up kind of paying enough for one thing or another.
So you're not the Venmo request guy.
No, I'm never going to walk you down because again, I believe that life eventually brings that back to you. if
You're
around the
absolutely
right
right.
So we're going to dinner with Golic tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, except
Yeah.
for you guys.
All right, so one more here for me at least. ESPN Celebrity Deathmatch.
Man.
Who's your opponent?
His dad.
Oh, Jason Fitz.
Yeah,
Jason Fitz in there. is
Jason
just rag
Fitz
on.
doesn't have a chance.
No,
Against
doesn't have a chance. He'll be in there playing the fiddle, and I will use it to summarily beat him.
The claymation version of Mike Golic Jr. All right, we're all in hotels this week or maybe an Airbnb. At the hotel, are the sheets tucked or untucked?
Untucked. That's the first thing I do is I get in the bed and I with my feet and arms power press the sheets out of that thing, release myself from that hell, and then go about my business. It is the first thing I do.
Our final, let's get to know Mike Golic Jr., and of course we're playing with all of our guests here on Radio Row. Do you tip 10, 15, 20, or other?
20 and up is usually.
That's
mostly.
Okay, here's a question. When you do pickup,
Uh-huh.
you call an order and
Yeah.
pick it up. what's that relationship with like the guy at the counter when they give you that receipt and it asks for the tip? What happens then?
Line through it.
Nothing.
Unless you know what? Unless you have.
I have lost so much money on the tip.
I always say, have you done something for me that I couldn't have otherwise done? I have come all that way to pick it up. I am doing the legwork of getting to the counter. You merely have to. A lot of times, there's not even them lifting up a thing. It's them pointing and saying, your food is over there.
It depends on the amount, though. I mean, if
I
you're
was at the
having a
airport.
party for 200 people and you're picking it up, which I don't know why you would be doing that.
No, you might be picking up a party tray.
Well, I see, but in that case, you're right. A lot of food goes into it.
A lot of time
when
and
I'm
effort.
tipping, that's probably going to the person up front who did the least amount of work in
That's
that.
right.
Let me tip the guy in the back cooking all
Just
of the
go
food.
into the back kitchen. Excuse me, sir.
I'm going to see Fred back there. He was the one clanging and
I
banging
got
on
the
these bags.
airport yogurt and a hummus, and the guy gives me the receipt, and it's $5.95. Here you go.
Oh,
buddy.
that's a tough spot. The airport's a different animal, though. It's really intimate. It's a tough spot, and everyone's staring at you.
All right, Mike Golic Jr. tomorrow morning. Golic and Wingo 6 to 10 right here on 97.3 ESPN. You just heard Get to Know Mike Golic Jr. You did well.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
stopping by the Sports Bash.
Thanks.